we want to help you today to know how to decrease stress. Are you stressed out from the election? Are you stressed out from COVID-19? Are you just stressed out?
There's an interesting term that we came across, COVID echo.
COVID echo.
And I changed it to COVID shadow. I guess it doesn't really matter what word you use, but it has to do with that fallout that people are feeling right now, or sensing right now, because of first of all, the virus, but then also just all of the election problems.
All the election problems. Yes, so if you are having trouble with stress, or you're feeling heavy in the chest, or chest pains, or you can't sleep, or any of that, we want you to take from the playbook of Eastern meditative techniques and practices. We actually want to share with you one way you can do it. If you look at ways to reduce stress, and you look at Eastern meditative techniques, they actually help heal the body. They minimize stress. So if you think of, when we say that, if you think of like Tai Chi, if you think of Falun Gong, any other ones you can think of. I have a black belt in ninjutsu, and so we learned a lot about deep breathing and meditation and things like that. But number one thing it helps you do is to reduce stress, be happier and healthier. It shows to take away illnesses, and people are healthier, their medical bills are less, and happier.
Right, it really produces an internal change in so many different ways. And you know, you and I ran across this, gosh, I don't know, it's over a year ago now, when we watched a video about Tai Chi and how the movements are performed and that kind of thing. But then also our ears perked up when it talked about the movements, the Tai Chi itself, and going through that process, actually relieving symptoms of debilitating and life-threatening diseases, even like multiple sclerosis, for example.
Yes, and even, you know, they have a book called Goodbye, what is it, that my brother had, Goodbye Parkinson's. Goodbye Parkinson's. And it is from Tai Chi, or different kind of movements like Falun Gong. And so some people call it Falun Dafa. There are these movements that you do. It's an ancient cultivation way for improving mind and body. The practice's most visible aspects are its 5 gentle exercises, including a meditation. They are highly effective ways to improve health and energy, and Falun Gong practitioners also study spiritual teachings. But if anything, we want you to understand that the core of these teachings and the values are truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance.
Right, and that was encouraging to me to know that. You know, it doesn't mean if I do this, I'm going to become a Buddhist or something.
No.
We're not talking about anything like that. In fact, it is not, according to the founder himself, Li Shuang, I can't remember his last name, and I don't speak Chinese, but he doesn't. He says this is definitely not a religion. This is simply meditative practice, and so I was encouraged, you know, by that. Also,
but they do also teach these moral qualities that keep you well.
Right, I was going to say that they really focus on virtues.
Virtues. That's a good way to put it.
Three of the, you know, we might even say top virtues. Truthfulness and compassion and forbearance,
or tolerance.
which is tolerance, and patience, that kind of thing. And but there are other virtues that come into the picture the more we read about that.
Right. And the thing about truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, truthfulness keeps you well. If you start lying and hiding, you start getting sicker. It only takes one lie to make you start worrying, and you can forget what you lie about. You can forget all the things that you did. So truthfulness keeps you well. Compassion keeps you understanding of people, and it keeps anger away. And tolerance or forbearance helps you be resilient in life, to be able to handle anything and get through it well. And Falun Gong and Tai Chi and all of the Eastern Buddhism, all of these, they teach these qualities by assimilating them into your life, and by doing that, a person can improve both physical health and wisdom. We call it health, wellness, and wisdom, really. So there are the physical movements, and with Falun Gong there are 5. With Tai Chi there are 12 or 21, I can't remember how many. But you learn these movements. Falun Gong's movements are just easier, there are 5. 5 different things you do every day. And but they tighten muscle, they strengthen muscle, they have deep breathing, and meditation is a part of that.
And
that's okay.
I was just going to say that if you're interested in doing some research or looking this up, it's spelled F-A-L-U-N, Falun, and then Gong, G-O-N-G. It's 2 words. And so we invite your education and just your research looking into that, because it might be something that could be very helpful.
Well, and Falun Gong's popularity and its healing benefits and health wellness effects have affected people so much so in China, which kind of fits the election going on.
Yeah, that's a topic, isn't it?
In China, they have 70 million followers of Falun Gong. And you know, of all the other Eastern meditative technique movements, they actually help you with truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, and health and wellness. So people have embraced this, and there are 70 million people in China, actually 100 million all over the world, that use this for wellness. And these people achieve better health, wellness, and resilience. Their improved energy levels, inner peace, elevated morals. Many recover from debilitating, said that word, and life-threatening diseases.
Right, and I don't know how much we want to talk about this the first time around, but you know, even cancer surviving, people who have survived cancer who have used this technique attribute their success and their recovery to that. And it really is quite an amazing thing, you know, when you look into this. And so, you know, this is something that we're going to do more and more of. And we're also going to talk about, as the program goes on today, integrating Falun Gong into just normal Western counseling practice as well.
Yes, we want, if you would like to see us on video, you can go to Getting Better with Anvil on Facebook. If you can't do that, you can watch it later on YouTube. We'll download it to Getting Better with Anvil or Anvil. So we'd love to have you. We have people joining us now. Hello out there. Just want to say hi. Okay, so Falun Gong, one of the great things is that people get well, but also they're happier. And I think that when you look at, you know, the ways to reduce stress, they love music. You know, they listen to a very calm, meditative music, but it's pretty, and I meant to play it. So I'll do it before we come back when we come back from break.
Yeah,
so you can hear some of the music. It's just really pretty, especially before sleeping for good rest. There's a lack of sleep when you get stressed out. You start not being able to relax. And so in China, they've started being persecuted because these people are so happy and well, and they look at self-responsibility and truthfulness and honesty, and basically it kind of goes against communism, which is very materialistic.
And collective in its own sense.
Well, what do you mean by collective?
Collectivism is like socialism. It is a total commitment to the machine. Right. To the big party, right?
You can't think for yourself. You all have to be together.
It takes all mindfulness away, all personal interest and effort away.
Yes.
The individual has no rights, no say. Only the big machine, the party, has its own way.
They don't like you thinking for yourself, and they don't like self-responsibility. So that is a problem. If you look at the meditation, the exercises, they want you to find a quiet area to not be disturbed, right, and do some of these movements. So we will show you some of them and talk about them as we go on. The Dafa exercises are really, that's where you get the deep breathing, which, you know, even Lamaze comes from that deep breathing for pain, the deep breathing for health and wellness, and then the focus and concentration. And they talk about an inner key. Now in karate, they teach us that because they want us to learn to focus so that we can move all the inner key, which is an inner energy, to one part of our body when we hit. So that when we hit, we can break concrete, or we can break boards, or, you know, you can really make an impact when you hit. I tried to say it the right way. Yeah.
You did
and
very
so,
well.
you know, you really learn how to focus by, what do you call it? Being able to imagine it or see it, visualize it, where you want it to go. So you just visualize it to a certain part of your body. So a lot of this mindful practice, meditation for health and wellness, and beyond, actually.
Right, and I was going to say also, we already incorporate a number of breathing exercises into our stress management teaching at our clinic, and I do a lot of this, and for years I've known that these were very, very helpful. And of course the Falun Gong adds to our store of those things, but I teach my clients deep breathing exercises,
Right.
what I call a 5-second quieting response, which is a breathing exercise. Belly breathing, which is even a different kind of breathing that is extremely helpful. And then there are things like the power of now, the mindfulness part of settling down our brain and heart.
And mindfulness does come from Eastern meditative practices. Just the mindfulness of being mindful of today, being mindful of now. Being in the now, and that's the power of now.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle wrote a book a couple of decades ago, I guess now, called The Power of Now. I have read it, I've used it over and over again, the concepts in my own life and in teaching people who come to me for help at our clinic. And it simply is a matter of putting behind you the past, putting behind you the future,
Right.
and focusing on, in any way you can, even if it's colors and shapes and that kind of thing, right now. And that simple exercise is enough to quiet us.
And we worry about you out there, more and more stress, shouldering more and more stress every day. It just keeps adding on and adding on and adding on.
Right.
And so we wanted to share with you about Andrew, who shouldered more stress every day. He moved home to care for his father, a war veteran suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress. His dad also had dementia and kidney failure. So 3 times a week, his father had to be taken to the center for dialysis. And so just the burden of his father and taking care of him and supporting and having no help from family, unsupported family.
Right, and so that was a huge component in his stress situation. Also, though, his work, he was a social worker, and he was in a kind of a climate which was very, very hostile. I mean, he was threatened all the time with knives and guns and all kinds of things. And so his work plus his home situation were nearly killing him.
Yeah, he also had he had a live-in sister and nephew kind of living off of him. That was another thing. So he just had a lot of stress. And he basically, the people in his family, they lacked really an understanding or even a nurturing spirit for his father. He was the only one that seemed to really care and want to do something. So Andrew was definitely under a lot of stress. So he was living on the brink of collapse. Right, is what we would say. Of course, we changed the name. So at one time they told me I have 6 months to live. He said, I'm still here and I've dealt with a lot of different health issues. He went on through his health problems, but every day I had to get up, and it was every day I did get up. It was a good day because I got up, said Andrew with a smile, and the voice of one who'd been there in that no man's land.
That's a terrible place to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he came out through it more resilient. And that's what we want you to do. When asked I was able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, Andrew mentioned a number of ways he had tried to help ease the adverse effects of stress and burnout. Instead of resorting to medication, Andrew opened himself to alternate coping strategies that focused on self-care, including different types of meditation. And he got completely well, and he got through everything, and it was wonderful. So we just wanted to share about Andrew so that we can help you do that. And when we get back, we're going to tell you more about how to do this yourself so that you can stay calmer and more positive and have a better attitude toward life.
Sure.
And be well.
Use less medicine. And that was one of the things that the people who have used this particular meditative approach say, I don't have to take medicine anymore.
It's a burnout buffer.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what we want you to understand, a burnout buffer. And Andrew talks about that quite a bit and how it changed his life and how for him, he felt like that's why he didn't collapse. So stay right here. We're going to help you be calmer like that and healthier and happier. We're going to explain exactly the movements and what to do when we get right back.
Good job.
Thank you. Okay. So, hi, Mom. If you're still there, hello. Okay, so from here...
when we come to Little Rock, we're going to be doing this, all of us.
Did I? Yeah. So I printed out pictures for people to see. I wonder if they came out. So I'll grab those and you can prepare for when we get back. How's that?
Okay, will do.
All right.
There's another interesting case study. If we have time, we can talk about it. If not, it's okay. A woman named Barbara fell 23
Right.
feet, nearly crushed her whole head.
I know.
And
Well, you remember Brooke, who fell
yes.
4 stories?
Oh, that's
It
right.
broke every
She
bone
fell-
in her
that's
body.
Right. She did. Yep. She could have used this.
She did do Eastern medicine of some kind. I just don't know. Here's the movements for you and for me.
Okay.
And
You know, there are a number of people as we go through this material that I think about that might really benefit from this. You know,
well,
people
somebody.
who, like, you know, we know someone right now who has had a terrible facial injury, you know, and chronic pain from that. And this is something that could help her, I think.
Well, and I think for us, you know, we turn the ringer down. I wanted to play that music real quick. Real quick. So that we can hear it when we come back.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. If you can do that, that'd be super.
Music. Here we go. Music.
Now, did you tell me that the music part was called, that was the Fulan Dafa? That the exercises were the
Falun
part?
Dafa is what, those are the exercises, and that's what they call, we just wanted the music, right?
Mm-hmm. I just was wondering about what it's called. I love that.
Isn't that pretty?
That's really nice. I think we need to mention again just that it really is, just focuses on the inner person, the inner calming. I was afraid maybe it would be a person that they were an opposition party to communism or something. And they aren't.
Now here is some Falun Dafa music that is so relaxing and stress reducing, and you will love it. And so just sit back and relax and enjoy. how could you not love that music? Now, I just got that from Fallon, F-A-L-U-N, DAFA, D-A-F-A, music, on YouTube, meditative music. It's the kind of music that just makes you feel calm just listening to it. And then the movements, which I'm going to show a picture on video of the movements, they look very much like Tai Chi, if you've ever seen Tai Chi. But the whole point is to stretch your body while you're doing deep breathing, and then they have you do some strengthening exercises and then relax. And then they have you do some more strength and then relax, stretch, relax. And so they have you basically stretch out most of your body. Basically, it's stretching.
It's a stretching exercise or series of exercises, yeah. And you know, it's not really in competition with bodybuilding or distance running or anything like that. Americans talk about working out, right? And this is just a different kind of workout. It's stretching exercises, and it is a quieting thing. It is, some people think, even more productive from a muscle or muscular perspective than the hard workouts you get from pumping iron, you know?
Right. And I think truly that you feel better after, and it doesn't take very long.
Right.
Now, some people spend an hour doing this, but you don't have to. To do these stances, there's 5 different ones you can do. Any of them make you feel better. All together, I think they take 20 minutes. But some people then after that sit and will, you know, quietly listen to just sounds and do deep breathing more. And but all in all, they're more successful people. They're some of the most successful people in the world, and they're the happier people in the world.
Large corporations today are taking their executives through Falun Gong meditative exercises.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which ones? Google, Facebook,
Yahoo.
Apple, Yahoo, all of them.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Right. And so Jim's cousin actually has a, what do you call that place? Something ball? What is that called? Whirly ball.
Yeah.
Where Google and all of them come to kind of test out their
team building.
Team building. There are people they're looking at hiring, right? And so they'll bring them there and rent this facility, and then they see how they play this game, and they pick based on the kind of employee they're looking for. So it's not always a real aggressive employee or the one that's the best, or it depends on the team they're trying to put them on.
Right.
So they do a lot of things to make you a much more successful person. They do a lot of really cool things. And so they do use all of these things to help their employees be better.
Right. And, you know, they're very successful with it. And our Western minds aren't exactly tuned into the benefits of something like stretching movements and stretching exercises and that kind of thing, and how beneficial it is to our inner core. And so, you know, there's a bit of a transition period perhaps that may be necessary, but most of the people that we've read, the case studies that we read, those people find benefits the first time out. And they find that they're very, very dramatically different from the way they felt. The bad feelings that they had and the pain that they were suffering before they did the exercises.
Yes, and I think that knowing that you can reduce stress. So when we come back, the music is so important to understand that, especially for sleep and for, you know, if you have a poor quality of rest and just to feel better during the day. When you're in this vicious cycle of like as soon as possible, got to do it right now, we ask you to turn the TV off earlier and turn the lights down and give yourself time to relax before going to bed. And it may be the most effective stress buster if you put this music on, and you can download it from falundafa.org or go to YouTube. Okay.
Did you want to do some of these exercises?
Well, the meditation, you are welcome to do them. Do you want to?
No, I was just thinking that you were going to do that.
I think the evening hours, when you think about, well, some people are home now and they're just working at home, so it doesn't necessarily have to be at night. I was thinking about that early in the morning or at night. But if they're home, they could do these, just find a quiet area and not be disturbed if they can find that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You can, so if you think about the music, you can practice meditation anytime.
Sure can.
Just to get alone, to prepare your body for rest or for the day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that definitely people who have anxiety, this would be a good practice every day to help decrease that anxiety.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to go through it for anxiety.
So you can stand, you can sit in a lotus position. Some people
Most of them are standing positions here,
Yeah.
though, and you, like you mentioned, we didn't show this, but they begin by pressing the hands together like this, and then from there it would go up
Yes.
like this. I haven't really practiced this, but
And then you bring them back down.
and then you bring them back down into pressing them together,
Press
and
them
then another one would be
then you realize.
going up like this, and then just out. He said like you have a ball in your hand,
Yes.
you know,
And so
then
it's almost like-
yeah.
But they stretch back,
Mhm.
and then he relaxes. So he stretch back, and then he relaxes, and then he comes back,
Mhm.
and then
And he always relaxes. You know, you relax when you bring your hands back together again. You're going to just relax your body.
So if you look at these, the standing stance, can you see these? I think I might walk up just to let them see them a little better. Just so you can see them a little better. It's a little dark. So there's the sitting, and there's these positions, so you can see it a little better.
You know, the one that we watched seemed a little different from these that are printed out.
Well,
but-
that's the video. We watched the
Yeah,
video of him moving through all these, and these are some of them. But I just wanted to print out some of them
Yeah,
so they
like you
could
did.
see them,
Yeah.
and they have names for them. But they take you through the 5 movements. There's actually 5 exercises that you go through. And we watched the first one this
First one,
morning.
yeah. And there are a number of components to that, but they take you through a range of motion, really,
Right.
is what they do. And even, like you said, there's, stretching back
Right,
and then coming back to the center,
right.
relaxing. And
And they're
it's-
real gentle. They're so gentle that anyone can do them.
Right.
And if you're worried about being able to stand, you can hold on to something, or you could sit down and do these.
Probably could
Some
sit
people
and do it.
squat to strengthen their legs, so they'll do it while they're squatting, or even a little squatting. And some people will just stand up straight like he's doing. I mean, it really just depends what you want to get out of that. So
Falun Gong.
this is for immediate relief. I was trying to think of things for immediate relief. Yeah. I have 45 seconds. See if I can get the music going again. Somehow I lost it. Stop is an easy way to practice being mindful in the face of stress. Just stop. So what do I mean by that? When you notice something's triggered you and you are about to react out of anger or anxiety, a lot of times it's anxiety or fear, follow the steps, slow down, take a breath, observe. What are you feeling in your body? What are you thinking? What other possibilities exist that are causing you to react so strongly? Okay, so you're thinking it through, you're being mindful of it. And it helps to bring an attitude of kindness to this practice, kindness for yourself, kindness to others, which is so lacking today out there. accepting your thoughts and feelings as they are, that this is just how I feel. And it also helps to bring curiosity about yourself and those feelings, to explore the situation with new eyes and an openness to new possibilities of what's really going on.
Which is what counselors do, and yet this is another component, another approach to the calming process, and something I think that we might want to use. I actually have a client who uses this already, and has had tremendous results.
Yes, the woman who just got married, and she is so beautiful, and she is in such great shape.
Yes.
And so to hear that she is using Falun Gong, I was not surprised at all.
Right. And so, but it took me, I had to put it together, you know, hey, that's what she's using, you know?
Yes.
And she had said, you know, she gets a lot of counseling, but she said, I've added this and it really, really helps me. And so I took some information down when I talked to her about that, and I was going to look into it, and lo and behold, we have.
We have, yes. Yeah. So, you know, to whatever arises, whatever comes about, ask yourself, could it be okay? Instead of just reacting and triggering based on what you always do. So I know a lady, every time she gets upset, she threatens you. Like, I can't tell you every time she threatens people. It's like, what? Every time she's upset, she threatens. Okay, that's just a trigger, okay? So she's just reacting probably like she's done for 50 years, right? And so instead, take a moment, stop, and ask yourself, could it be okay? Is it going to be okay? Could this really be okay? And not be so horrible. So you can practice it in small moments, developing skills that will serve you well for challenging crisis or situations, especially right now.
And let me just say that when you use that technique to stop, you know, and you begin to think it through, immediately when you do the stop thing, you interrupt the stress cycle. And so it stops that process right then.
Yes, and I think that if you have the music to start you out every day or to help you sleep, you're much more able to relax, stop yourself, stay calmer, stay more self-controlled, self-disciplined. Because there's so much stress out there right now, and if you just watch TV a lot, you are going to be a mess. You are just going to be a mess. There's so much anger and manipulation and coercion and injustice and you name it. It's just going to be really hard for any human to handle well. And so you need all the things in your arsenal to help you cope. And this is one of the greatest things you can do. So, we were talking about the music, listening to music, and then you can from there do the exercises. So, you can go look these up. You can go on YouTube. You can read about them. We actually watched them on YouTube and tried them. So you find a quiet area where you'll not be disturbed. While you can practice meditation at any time of the day, okay, the evening hours are often the best. Some people do it in the morning before they start their day, but evening is very beneficial because it helps prepare you for rest. Okay, and if you sleep at a different time, just before you rest. So you can either stand. We have people that stand and do it. We have people that squat and do these exercises kind of to strengthen their legs. We have people that sit. So, or you can sit in a lotus position if you want to. People love to do that when they meditate. Or simply cross your legs and sit up straight, you know, or you can just sit in a chair. So unlike other meditation techniques, Dafa meditation does not require concentration on your breathing or taking slow, deep breaths. You don't have to concentrate on that, but you'll notice they do slow down. Now, if you're used to breathing deep, Dr. Slaughter will tell you it's one of the best stress management tools.
In through the nose, out through the mouth, 10 deep breaths slowly, and it really does bring your heart rate down and begin to make you feel more calm. So that's one of the things we recommend. There are breathing exercises. This is a stretching exercise, and so it really it is just another component. I call them weapons in my arsenal. You know? Weapons in your arsenal. Yeah.
And the meditation is just staying quiet, okay, and closing your eyes. And of course, we would add deep breathing, but you don't have to. And just listening to sounds, listening to what's going on around you. Listen to your heartbeat. Listen to your breathing. And then think about whatever comes in your mind, you know. But you want to relax and think good thoughts. Now, we have people that they focus on ocean, they focus on mountains, wherever they want to be, that's very calming.
Right. And so visualization is another part of this. It's something we use all the time in the practice and with our clients. And it would be perfect to use this kind of music, the Falun Gong music, and the exercises with some degree of visualization. That's a good idea.
Yes, because we always ask people about their positive anchor, the things that make them feel the best, whether it be a real successful time, or I had someone that told me the most relaxing thing for them and the most joyful thing to them is to think about being in the garden with their grandfather. They loved gardening with him and just walking through his garden. I had a woman who said she loved, or actually a girl said she loved riding horses and just feeling herself on the horse, and so imagining that in the sun. I had a guy who skateboards and he just loves that. He feels so free. So when he's thinking about that and breathing, but in the beginning, just listen to the sounds. If you want to add the music, you can just sit quietly and listen to the music.
Right. And you can do you can do some of the visualization a little bit, and certainly the power of now, the nowness, mindfulness. You can do even in the car. And you don't have to close your eyes. You can actually begin thinking about what's out there in front of you or to the side of you. And we want you to keep your eyes on the road, but it's important to practice just being in that other world.
Yes, and the exercises, psychologists studying how exercise relieves anxiety and depression suggest that a 10-minute walk may be just as good as a 45-minute workout, although the effects may be temporary. And so you can see that walking is almost a meditation, and that you're just enjoying yourself. You're looking around at the beauty around you, and you're just taking it easy.
Right. It's one of the best things that helps stem the tide of stress when it starts coming on. So stress comes out in so many different ways, and anger is one of the major players when it comes to how stress works out. And depression, disappointment, just negativism, and so we want to defeat that.
Yeah, we want to defeat that. Some studies show that ordinary exercise can work quickly to alleviate depression and elevate your mood. And so if that's what your issue is, you're feeling depressed and you need a higher mood, you can work out. You can walk a little faster, okay? Walking is good, but you can always walk faster as you get better. DAFA exercises can even be more beneficial. As you can see, just listening to that music, you see what happens to you.
Yeah, it can be extremely beneficial. And so, I want to encourage everyone who's listening and watching today to give it a try. Try it. See what you think about it. See what it does for you. And you can even add it, to what else you already have in your arsenal of stress-reducing techniques. Or call it your toolkit or your tool belt or whatever. But this is something else that we have now. A lot of research data to show is incredibly powerful and incredibly effective, even when it comes to physical health.
And we found so much research. It was very technical and lots of charts of all these people, their illnesses, and then they start doing these exercises, and within 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, they get well. And so I saw these charts after medical charts, and I'm like, why don't we know this? That these simple exercises heal your body. Now, the book, Hello Parkinson's, or Goodbye Parkinson's, actually Goodbye Parkinson's is the name of it, Tai Chi exercises, they're kind of a combination of this and Tai Chi. They actually mix them in, and that they truly heal the body and heal the brain. And so we want that for you. Now, these actual exercises are actually known and studied to show that they do heal the body. So we just really encourage you to look them up. There is a book, The Mindful Practice of Falun Gong, Falun, and then Gong, Meditation for Health, Wellness, and Beyond. And that will help you with the healing potentials and really God's healing potential when you meditate just on His nature and on just the universe in general.
Yeah, and I like to think about that too as being a product of the never-ending, the infinite power of God who created everything, created the universe, everything in it. And when that happened, and I think there's some indication in the scriptures of this, that God released into the universe an incredible power and that to an extent that is available to us as humans. Not that we're not God, I get it, but we have power available to us, and part of it we may not even understand. But it's a power that's available to us because God put it into the universe, and that's where we live.
And Margaret Trey is an incredible medical researcher. She actually has studied Eastern medicine and especially Falun Gong for its healing properties. And she has spoken on it all over the world in at medical conventions about how much just these concepts, if we, combine them into counseling, offer valuable guidance to lost or wounded souls seeking clarity and understanding. She says a lot of my cases are anxiety disorders. Getting them to do Falun Gong exercises in the counseling session actually helped them to calm down.
And she's one of the strongest voices out there.
She is.
T-R-E-Y is her last name,
T-R-E-Y, Trey.
And so, check out some of the stuff that she's gotten out there. And she has encouraged us to include this as a part of our counseling ministry.
Yes, and she talks about April, who was plagued by anxiety. And she found that Falun Gong could immediately quiet her busy mind. She said, I feel more relaxed, less anxious, and have less stuff buzzing in my head. But really, since the 1970s, psychotherapists have used Buddhist teachings as a way to help patients manage stress and alleviate physical and emotional pain. And a lot of what we've learned about stress management actually came from Eastern meditative techniques like that. So it actually helps to clear whatever their issue is when they're very anxious or obsessive. We actually even know it helps with depression. So we want you to spend time meditating, practicing slow, gentle exercises, and honestly striving really to meet a high moral standard.
Yes, which this incorporates. It's about the improvement of our moral condition. And I was very impressed by that. I mean, this is what we do as well. This is not far off from what we do in our clinics. And so it really has to do with building strong and high virtue inside. And so that's a huge part of it too, not just the physical wellness part.
One of the things that you have to realize is as you become much more of a moral human being, much more of a truthful, honest, transparent person, you become happier, you become calmer, and you can deal with life so well. And so people are always asking us why we're so happy. And it's just living a life that you don't need to hide from, and living a life you don't need to make excuses about. And you don't have to try to remember what you said or what you didn't say.
Honesty is incredibly freeing.
It is, yes. Really, like Buddhism and Taoism, Falun Gong probably serves as a path to wisdom. We call it wisdom. They call it enlightenment. But what they mean by that is a whole being of joy and having the wisdom, knowing how to live every day well. That's what I call it.
Right. And it's a part of that is knowing yourself so much better. Through a process like this, you come to know yourself better. And there are many components to that. But that's a part of being happy.
It is a part of being happy. And we want you to be happy because this time is just such a tough time. And counseling, there's a Rogerian philosophy that we learned in school, has 3 principles: empathy, unconditional positive regard for the client, and congruence during practice. Just living your life very congruently, where everything goes together well. And we just want you to examine the healing potential of these exercises and meditation and music so that you can manage your stress better.
A lot of Roger's stuff had to do with just empathy itself and making your client feel comfortable. And that's a huge part of it.
So we just encourage empathy today and understanding and compassion. Hang on, we'll be right back. The music's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, really nice.
I hope it's not too loud. Yeah. Well, okay, so, the mind is a very powerful thing. It is amazing when you give it other tools, what it can do.
Yeah, I know, it is.
So is there anything else you want to do in the last 5 minutes?
Well, I was trying to think about that. covered a lot of territory here, haven't we, really?
You know, Dr. Koenig, Koenig, is a Christian who studied Falun Gong, and then he studied the Christian practices and found the similarities. There's all these similarities,
Okay.
and that people who actually live a Christian life and walk that, not just say it but don't live it, right? That they actually are healthier and happier as well. And so the hard part is just to go to church but not live it, or to say you're a Christian but not even live it out, right? Because a lot of people just don't know what it really is to be a Christian.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a little bit about, we already have some, yes, about that this does not collide with our Christian
No, that's right.
beliefs or anything like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that because you're using this particular, this technique doesn't mean that you're laying aside your Christian beliefs or commitment, you know?
Well, and it's like me being a black belt and me doing ninjutsu doesn't mean that I believe in everything the ninjas did, right? I'm
That's
just
right.
using
Right,
tools for defense and
Right.
protection. So,
Okay, sign right there. Snacks,
and sweats.
sweats. Did they mean sweets? I'm just
Maybe it's people who work out and snack. I don't know.
Maybe it talks about delivering foods. I thought, what? Anyway, yeah. Well, I want to try this because I you know that I have some tinnitus going from me, and that was one of the things that went away when this person did that. So I'm gonna try this for that, and just for the settling of it, settling down, the relaxation from it,
Yes.
And it's always good to try something and use it before you recommend it. So I recommend it.
Well, I know about it. We did all this kind of stuff, and I loved it. I just didn't know, like, I had people in my 20s get on me, Christians get on me, that I shouldn't do any of that. I shouldn't do meditation.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do any of that, that's wrong. And so I didn't know. It took me a long time to come back to it and be like, wait, there's nothing bad about this. If God is your God, and that is where you get your power from, there is nothing wrong with this. It's all where you put your faith and what you're turning to for power.
This is not about worship. Sure.
I love JD's intro. You are getting better all the time. And that is our job, to help you get better all the time. In my studies of neuroscience, I've seen the mind as a very powerful thing. If you can change your mind, you are on the road to health and wellness. The power of the mind is very important. And the tools that you give the mind help it do amazing things. And so it needs tools so that you're not just taking in the world stuff that stresses you out and doesn't help. So if you compare the techniques of Falun Gong with, say, the Christian faith, there is Dr. Koenig, Koenig. They call him prolific, so I assume that means he's written an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, probably so.
He's published over 400 scientific peer-reviewed publications and 40 books on various medical subjects. But he's best known for his insights on religion and Koenig's controlled trials, and there are so many trials out there of people with Falun Gong exercises that had illnesses. I can't believe how many. They show that practicing religion and spirituality actually helps people improve their health and well-being. Koenig is a Christian, so all his research shows the health and wellness impacts of practicing the Christian faith. And Margaret Trey, who specializes with Falun Gong, said, I cited his work to give a rationale for my own research. She reveals that Falun Gong practitioners rarely take medication.
Right. They don't need it.
No, they don't need it. And we don't take any either. And one of the things that you realize is that when you don't see a doctor, you use everything you can to stay well.
That's right.
And it's amazing all the things out there. So she did the research. It shows they rarely take medication or see a doctor. Yes, yet this group scored much higher than the non-practitioner control group in every health metric. Before they started practicing, the Falun Gong group had a lot more health and medical problems. After practice, they reported significant improvement in all their conditions. And so that was only after 12 weeks. So if you keep doing this daily, it is amazing. Now, why? Well, you don't have to know why. I mean, one of the things that I love is just by doing it, I feel better. I don't necessarily have to know why, but if you look at the movements closely, you might be able to see why. Because there is the guy that does all the deep breathing that runs in Alaska with hardly anything on, in shorts and bare feet. He is all about deep breathing. So with deep breathing, just deep breathing and meditation, he can basically live in ice. I mean, he lives there and he runs in it and everything barefoot. And so deep breathing is an amazing thing. And so realizing how much these things help. But when you look at the movements, there's deep breathing, there's stretching, there's pressing for strength as well, and if you're squatting, it makes you stronger. And it's gentle and it's meditative and calming. So you can see how it kind of takes everything. Now in ninjutsu, we did katas all the time, and they look similar. You know, you just go through these movements, and you breathe through them as you go through the movements, and you feel so much better.
Right.
It's crazy how good it feels.
And you know, going back just a minute ago, I want to make it the point clear again that there's no conflict between Falun Gong and Christianity. There's no worship element in Falun Gong at all. It's simply meditative exercise, meditative stretching, and quieting the mind and the body, and enjoying the benefits from that. What they achieve with that, things like what? Truthfulness, compassion, forbearance. Those are Christian virtues.
They're just wonderful virtues.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're so important. I can't believe China hates them so much. Communism hates them. They hate them. And so it's like, go figure, why would you, it makes you a better person. And they were saying in China, 70 million pigs, it makes you a much better person, a much better citizen, just a much better productive individual, unless that's not what they want for you in the country that you're in. If they don't want you productive and they don't want you happy and they don't want you helping others and doing all these good things. But one of the things that Trey calls Falun Gong, she calls it Hearts Uplifted, because she looks at the studies for cancer, sleeping disorders, anxiety, stress reduction, and all different kinds of problems. We also know yoga does that too.
Right.
It is so healing. So I hope that you will take some of our suggestions today. Go look at the videos. Go look at the books. Now the Epic Times also talks about it. Now I love that paper. I got to tell you, the Epic Times, EPOCH Times, is one of our favorite papers you can see online.
It's really
and
a
they talk
go-to
about
source
this.
of information for us. Yeah.
So just enjoy your week and try these things out so you can be more meditative. Listen to the music so you can really just stay calm and turn down that TV. So tonight, let's turn out the lights early. Let's, calm down, get by yourself, and listen to music. And we just know by next week you'll feel better. So we'll meet you right back here Saturday at 12 on KBDT. Take good care and keep getting better.
All right, good job. I don't know.
I forgot about this one.
Oh, well, that's okay. That means that we weren't supposed to do that one.
That's what it means. Okay, we're done. Are you ready to go? I'm so excited for the day. All right.
I don't know how people will have taken this, but I think it was a good show. It had some